The wrong penthouse asterisk, the bass from the party below pulsed through the floor, vibrating under Lena's bare feet as she leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window. The Chicago skyline glittered like scattered diamonds, but the view did nothing to ease the ache in her chest. 3 weeks. That's how long it had been since she'd walked in on Jason and his coworker tangled in her bedsheets. "You look miserable," Nina said, appearing beside her with 2 glasses of champagne. Her dark curls bounced as she shoved a drink into Lena's hand. "This is supposed to be fun. You know that thing people have when they're not wallowing?" Lena sighed. "I'm not wallowing. I'm reevaluating my life choices." "Boring." Nina rolled her eyes. "What you need is a distraction, something reckless." Before Lena could protest, Nina grabbed her wrist and dragged her through the crowd of laughing strangers. The penthouse belonged to some tech investor, all sleek furniture and expensive art. But Nina didn't stop until they reached a private elevator tucked behind a frosted glass wall. "See that?" Nina whispered, nodding at the keypad. "Rumor is, this goes to the real penthouse. The owners never hear some billionaire workaholic who travels non-stop." She grinned. "And guess who swiped the code?" Lena's stomach dropped. "No, absolutely not." "Oh, come on." Nina pressed the keycard into her palm. 1 hour. Sneak up, take a few pics of the insane view, and come back. Live a little. The champagne buzzed in Lena's veins, mixing with the bitter sting of betrayal still fresh in her mind. Jason had called her predictable, boring. Maybe it was time to prove him wrong. 1 hour, she muttered, stepping into the elevator. The ride-up was silent, her reflection staring back at her messy brown hair. Tired green eyes, a black dress borrowed from Nina's closet. She looked like a woman about to make a mistake. The penthouse doors slid open to reveal a space that stole her breath. Minimalist, yet warmer, lived in luxury. Her photographer's eye immediately traced the way moonlight spilled across the dark wood floors, the way the city lights framed the leather couch like a painting. She snapped a few photos, her nerves easing as she lost herself in the artistry of the space. Then she saw the bedroom. The bed was unmade, the sheets rumpled as if someone had just left. A half-finished book lay on the nightstand beside a silver watch. Her pulse spiked. This wasn't some untouched showroom. Someone lived here. She should have left. Instead, exhaustion won. The bed looked too inviting, the silence too comforting. Just 5 minutes, she told herself, sinking onto the edge. Just to rest her eyes. She didn't hear the elevator ding. Didn't hear the footsteps approaching. But she felt it, the weight of someone's gaze. Lena's eyes flew. Open, a man stood in the doorway, silhouetted by the city lights behind him. Tall, broad-shouldered, his tie loosened, as if he'd just come home from work. His dark eyes locked onto hers, unreadable. Her heart stopped. "Please don't scream," he said, his voice low. "I'm not going to hurt you." Lena's breath caught in her throat as the man stepped closer, his shadow stretching across the bed. She scrambled back, her fingers twisting in the sheets. "God, oh God, I'm Ethan," he said, his voice calm as if finding a stranger. In his bed was a normal occurrence. "And this is my penthouse." Her face burned. I thought it was empty. I didn't mean to break in." One dark brow arched, but there was no anger in his tone, just curiosity. She swallowed. Hard. It was a dare. "My friend, she thought it'd be funny." Ethan studied her for a long moment, then exhaled, running a hand through his already messy hair. "You look like you're about to pass out again." "I'm fine," she lied, though her legs shook as she stood. "I'll just go. Wait."
Ice.
Hand caught her wrist, not tight, just enough to stop her. His skin was warm, calloused in a way she hadn't expected from a billionaire. When she met his eyes, she saw something unexpected. "Amusement? You're not calling the police?" She whispered, "Do you want me to?" "No." "Then have coffee with me." She blinked. "What? You broke into my home. The least you can do is tell me why." His lips quirked. "My espresso machine is better than anything you'll find downstairs." She should have refused, should have bolted for the elevator. But something in his voice, a quiet loneliness, maybe made her hesitate. "Just coffee," she said. "Just coffee," he agreed. The kitchen was all polished steel and soft lighting. The the kind of space that belonged in a magazine. Lena perched on a stool, clutching the mug he handed her, the rich scent of espresso curling between them. So Ethan said, leaning against the counter, "Tell me why a woman who doesn't do things like this ended up in my bed." Warmth of the cup seeped into her fingers. "My boyfriend's ex-boyfriend cheated on me 3 weeks ago. I've been numb since then. My friend thought this would snap me out of it, did it?" She glanced up. Ethan wasn't laughing at her. His gaze was steady, patient. "I don't know," she admitted. "I just didn't." "Want to feel like nothing anymore?" Something flickered in his expression. "I know the feeling." "You? It's a billionaire who could have anything? Especially then?" He turned his mug in his hands. "Money doesn't fix loneliness." The raw honesty in his voice surprised her. She studied him, the sharp lines of his jaw, the faint shadows under his eyes. He looked tired, human. "Why'd you let me stay?" she asked. He met her gaze. "'Cause when I saw you there, you looked peaceful, like you belonged." Her pulse jumped. A chime cut through the silence. His phone glanced at the screen, his expression tightening. "I have to take this," he said reluctantly. Lena stood. "I should go." He hesitated, then grabbed a pen and scribbled something on a napkin, his number, in case you ever break into another penthouse and need bail. She laughed, despite herself. "I'll stick to galleries next time." "You're an artist? Photographer?" She bit her lip. "Or trying to be." He studied her for a long moment. "Show me your work sometime." It wasn't a request. Downstairs, Nina nearly spilled her drink when Lena reappeared. "Oh my God, I thought you got arrested." "It worse," Lena muttered. "I had coffee with him." Nina's eyes widened. "And he wants to see my photos." "Oh, hell no." Nina grabbed her shoulders. "That man is dangerous." Lena frowned. "He was nice." "Exactly." Nina's voice dropped. "Billionaires aren't nice unless they want something." Lena's fingers brushed the napkin. In her pocket, she wasn't sure what Ethan wanted, but for the first time in weeks, she wanted to find out. Lena stared at her phone, the text glaring up at her. Ethan, still waiting to see those photos. She hadn't expected him to actually follow up. Men like him, powerful, wealthy, used to getting what they wanted, didn't chase. Especially not after something as bizarre as finding a stranger asleep in their bed. Nina, sprawled on Lena's couch with a bowl of popcorn, narrowed her eyes. "You're smiling." It's terrifying. "I'm not smiling. You are." Nina threw a kernel at her. "You're actually considering sending him your work?" Lena bit her lip. Her photography was personal, raw. The only thing that had kept her sane after the breakup. Showing it to Ethan felt dangerous, like handing him a piece of her soul. But he'd asked. She selected 5 images, the ones she'd never shown anyone. A rain-soaked alleyway, light fractured through broken glass. An old man laughing on a park bench, his wrinkles deep as canyons. A single rose wilting on a subway seat. She hit send before she could overthink it. His reply came. 27 minutes later. "Ethan, meet me at the gallery on 5th and Wexler. Noon, no praise, no criticism, just a demand." Lena's stomach twisted. "He wants to meet," Nina groaned. "Of course he does." The gallery was sleek, modern, all white walls and sharp angles. Ethan stood near the back, hands in his pockets, studying a massive, abstract painting like it held the answers to the universe. "You came," he said without turning. "You didn't leave me much choice." Finally, he faced her. His dark eyes were unreadable. "Your work is incredible." The words hit her like a punch to the chest. You really think so?" "I know so." He stepped closer, which is why I called in a favor. A door opened behind them. A silver-haired woman in a tailored suit approached. Smiling, "Lena Carter," Ethan said. "This is Miriam Keating, owner of the Keating Contemporary." Lena's mouth went dry. This was one of the most prestigious galleries in the city. Miriam extended a hand. "Ethan showed me your photos. I'd like to feature them in our Emerging Artists Showcase next month." Lena's knees nearly gave out. "You're joking." Ethan's lips curved. "I don't joke about art." Later, at a cafe down the street, Lena stirred her latte in a daze. "I don't understand why you do this." Ethan leaned back in his chair. "Because talent like yours shouldn't be hidden. It's not that simple." My ex always said she cut herself off. Ethan's jaw tightened. What did he say? It was a cute hobby. But hobbies don't pay rent. Her voice was bitter. Ethan's hand covered hers, warm and steady. Then prove him wrong. Her breath caught. His touch sent sparks up her arm. A phone buzzed. Ethan glanced at the screen, his expression hardening. Problem? She asked. My father. He stood abruptly. I have to go. Of course. He hesitated, then pulled her close, his voice low in her ear. This isn't over. Then he was gone, leaving her pulse racing. Nina was waiting at Lena's apartment, arms crossed. Well, Lena sank onto the couch, still reeling. Got me into the Keating gallery. Nina's eyes bugged. What? And then he just ... left. Something about his father. Nina's expression darkened. Lena, listen to me. Ethan Cole isn't just rich, his family owns half the city. His dad is James Cole. The ruthless is silent but implied. Lena's stomach dropped. You think this is some kind of game to him? I think men like that don't do anything without a reason. Nina gripped her shoulders. Be careful. Lena thought of Ethan's hand on hers, the intensity in his eyes when he'd said, prove him wrong. She wasn't sure what game they were playing, but for the first time in her life, she wanted to win. The doorbell startled Lena awake. She stumbled to the door, still in her pajamas, and yanked it open only to freeze. A man in a crisp navy suit stood there, his expression unreadable. Lena Carter? She tightened her grip on the door. Asking Daniel Hart? Ethan Cole's assistant. His gaze flicked over her disheveled hair, her bare feet. We need to talk. Her pulse spiked. Did something happen to Ethan? Daniel stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. You need to stay away from him. The words hit like ice water. Excuse me? You don't know what you're dealing with? Daniel pulled out his phone, swiped to a news article, handed it to her. The headline blared. Coal Industries in crisis. James Cole demands son marry rivals, a daughter to secure merger. A photo showed Ethan at a gala, his face stone cold as a stunning brunette clung to his arm. Lena's stomach twisted. This doesn't mean anything, Daniel scoffed. Ethan's entire life is controlled by his father. This merger, it's been in the works for years. James won't let anything or anyone ruin it. His voice softened. And if you care about Ethan, you'll walk away before his father notices you. Ethan's penthouse, 8:03 p.m. Lena hadn't planned to come. But after hours of pacing, she'd grabbed her keys and driven straight here. The elevator doors opened. Ethan was already waiting, his shirt sleeves rolled up, his hair messy like he'd been running his hands through it. You've got my texts? He said roughly. She stepped out, her heart hammering. Your assistant paid me a visit. Ethan's jaw tightened. Daniel needs to mind his own goddamn business. Is it true? She forced the words out. Are you engaged? No. He gripped her shoulders. That woman means nothing. The merger means nothing. My father, your father controls your life. She pulled away. I can't do this, Ethan. I won't be the other woman, or worse, the distraction. His eyes darkened. You think this is just some game to me? I don't know what this is. Voice cracked. 1 minute you're getting me into galleries. The next year, he kissed her, hard, desperate. Her hands fisted in his shirt as he backed her against the wall, his mouth hot and demanding. She melted into him, every doubt burning away under. His touch, when they finally broke apart, his breath was ragged. I've spent my entire life doing what my father wanted. But you... His thumb brushed her cheek. You are the first thing I've ever chosen for myself. Lena's resolve crumbled. Then his phone rang. Ethan ignored it. It rang again. And again with a growl, he yanked it from his pocket and froze at the caller ID. James Cole. Lena saw the flicker of hesitation in his eyes, the conflict, and in that moment she knew. She stepped back. Answer it. Ethan's grip tightened on the phone. Lena, answer it. He did. And as she listened to his clipped, dutiful responses, yes, father, no father. I'll be there, her heart shattered. She was already at the elevator when he hung up. Lena, wait. She turned, tears blurring her vision. You say you've chosen me, but you're still letting him control you. His face twisted. It's not that simple. It never is with you. The doors slid shut between them. Epilogue. 1 week later, Lena's gallery opening was packed. Critics, buyers, even a few minor celebrities milled around. Admiring her photos, she should have been elated. Instead, she kept glancing at the door. Hoping stop looking for him, Nina muttered, handing her a champagne flute. He's not coming. Lena forced a smile. I wasn't. Nina rolled her eyes. Then the crowd parted, and Ethan walked in, dressed in a simple black suit. No tie, his hair slightly messy like he'd run the whole way. Their eyes locked. He held up a single red rose. And for the first time in a week, Lena let herself hope. The gallery chatter faded to white noise as James Cole stepped into the room behind. Ethan. His presence was like a winter storm, sharp, suffocating, impossible to ignore. Lena's fingers tightened around her champagne flute. Ethan didn't flinch. He kept walking toward her, the rose still extended, his eyes never leaving hers. Then James spoke. So this is the girl. His voice cut through the room like a blade. Nina stiffened beside Lena, but Ethan didn't even glance back. Father, he said, calm but firm, this isn't the time. James ignored him. His cold gaze raked over Lena, dissecting her like a specimen under glass. Photographer, was it? How quaint. Lena's face burned, but she refused to look away. Mr. Cole, a muscle in Ethan's jaw twitched, stepped between them, shielding her with his body. We're leaving. James laughed to sound like cracking ice. Of course you are. It's running away, just like your mother. Ethan went rigid. Lena had never seen him look like that, exposed like the words had torn open an old wound. She acted without thinking. Stepping around Ethan, she faced James head in. You don't get to talk to him like that. The room held its breath. James's smile turned dangerous. And what will you do, little girl? Take more pictures of me. Ethan's hand closed around Lena's wrist, gentle but firm. Don't. She turned to him, her voice low. Is this what you've been fighting? Your whole life? His grip tightened. Yes. Then fight now. For a heartbeat, he hesitated. Then he turned to his father. Enough. 2 words. That was all. But the way he said them, final, unshakable, made James's smirk falter. Ethan kept going. The merger is off. The engagement is off. And if you ever speak to Lena or Emil like that again, I walk permanently. Silence. James's face darkened. You'd throw away everything for some nobody with a camera? No. Ethan's voice was steel. I'm choosing myself for once. And her. He turned his back on his father, an act so bold, Lena nearly gasped and faced her. I love you, he said, simple as breathing, and if you'll have me, I'm yours. The room vanished. All she saw was him, the man who'd led her into his life, his home, his heart, the man who'd finally chosen her over everything else. Lena took the rose. Then she kissed him, right there in front of everyone. Her hands fisting in his shirt like she'd never let go. The crowd erupted into applause. James Cole stormed out and... Ethan, he laughed against her lips, breathless and free. Epilogue. 3 months later, the penthouse was different now. Warmer. Lena's photos hung on the walls framed. Celebrated home. Ethan's father had disowned him, but he'd never looked happier. He came up behind her now, wrapping his arms around her waist as she adjusted the last frame. Perfect, he murmured into her hair. She leaned back into him. Which one? The photo or us? His lips brushed her neck. Both. Outside, the city glittered a million lights, a million possibilities. But here, in this moment, they were exactly where they were meant to be. Together.